You write this: in years to come, as I work closely with President Bush, I would come to believe that sometimes he convinces himself to believe what suits his needs at the moment. It is not unlike a witness in a court who does not want to implicate himself in wrongdoing, but is also concerned about perjuring himself. That's an extraordinary statement to make about the President of the United States.
Well, I think it's a statement of a lot of politicians get into that mode. They come into this atmosphere, and I was talking about a very personal issue there that occurred years ago, and I think it's fine for something like that. It's understandable that I don't recall. But then when that transfers,
that was his use of cocaine.
That's correct. And I recount that story in the book when he says, told a supporter, I don't remember. And at that point, that didn't bother me too much because it was understandable, given that it was such an issue of personal nature that occurred in his younger days, 20, 30 years ago.
Was it believable?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I say that in the book, that it struck me as, how could you not remember? But when that transfers over into other issues of policy, that then becomes a problem. One thing that I can point to that you will probably remember very well, and your viewers, is that when he was talking about Iran and Iran pursuing nuclear weapons, it later became known that a national intelligence estimate had come out before that time, before he was making those remarks, and said that they had suspended their nuclear weapons program. He was asked about it. When were you told about this? When were you told about this national intelligence estimate? And he said, I don't remember. I just can't find that. I just find that hard to believe. Now, he believes it in his heart, I think, but he convinces himself to do so.
It's self-deception?
It is.
When you left, there was a big party for you in the Roosevelt Room. Here are some pictures. You're standing there with staff, and you're with your family, the president throwing his arms around you. In this next photo, everyone seemed very, very happy. When you left on April 19th, or announced you're leaving, this is what the president had to say.
One of these days, he and I are going to be rocking on chairs in Texas, talking about the good old days of his time as the press secretary, and I can assure you I will feel the same way then that I feel now, that I can say to Scott, job well done.
Thank you, sir.
It seems as if everything's jolly, happy. You're not the least bit disenchanted.
I tell you, I continue to have a lot of affection for the president. As I say, this was a struggle to write. These were not easy words to write. But I have a responsibility to the American people. I've had a career in public service. This book is an extension of my career. I was raised on the values of speaking up and making a positive difference in a very political family that believed in the importance of public service. And that was taught to me at an early age. And now this is my time to share my experiences with the American people. And I think others should come forward and share their candid insights about what they learned and what they lived and what they learned from it.
Some have suggested, because you were part of the propaganda machine that sold the war, that many people have died and been injured because of the war. You should donate some of the profits from this book to the families of the victims of the Iraq War. Will you do that?
I intend to. I do intend to. I've already made that decision. A portion. I don't know what I'll do, Tim, but a portion I do intend to do that. My wife and I look for ways to always support the troops, including sending care packages regularly to them.
What's the most important lesson you've learned?
The most important lesson is that it's important to speak up at the time. And I was young, and I probably should have spoken up about some of these issues sooner. And I think that's the other lesson is if you're in a situation like that, I mean one of my biggest mistakes, I think, and I blame myself for this, was I put myself in the position of unknowingly passing along false information. I should have never put myself in that position in the first place. And
should you be willing to resign if you disagree with the president?
Yes, I think people should if they have a strong disagreement. Again, my disagreements, I had different views while I was there. These are views that I've come to after leaving the White House and reflecting to a large extent